Hey, what's up guys, it's me Random, and this is another video. And obviously this is another type of video that you guys aren't really used to, since most of the time I'm posting in the channel. As you can see, I'm always posting like online matches and whatnot. And I actually got something much more different, and I'm actually been wanting to do this kind of video, and I just wanted to give at least my inputs on what I think about Guilty Gear, especially since it's so close to releasing. The recording of this video, I am about as you can say 2 weeks away from Guilty Gear Strive, but then again it still depends on how long or when I'm gonna be posting this video, because I don't know, maybe it could be closer, or maybe it could already been released yet, but hopefully I post this before release. But yeah, this is pretty much my input on what I think about so far of playing Guilty Gear Strive's beta, what I think about the game, and what I pretty much at least say worried about, and things that I definitely dislike. You're definitely not gonna hear things that I do like, because this is more so on what are things I definitely worry about, because from all we know, you guys have already heard lots of good stuff about this game, but this is more so me about my worries about it, and what I feel that should have been in the game, or at least given more thought about it. So yeah, this is more so less positive about the game and more so on the negatives. So yeah, anyways, let's get started. The video isn't going to take too much of your time. I'm probably going to make this a very short video. Nonetheless, I have about 3 points on why I think, or at least 3 points on I worry about when it comes to Guilty Gear Strive. And pretty much the first one here is definitely going to come up, is that playing defensively is not very rewarding, at least how I feel in Guilty Gear Strive. I definitely noticed that the game definitely promotes more on playing aggressively, and as much as it does reward you when you're playing a bit more balanced, it doesn't reward you as much as if you're playing more aggressively, and you definitely don't get as much reward if you are playing defensively. I'm not sure if anyone have felt the same way as I do, but this is more so on how I feel, because I come from a BlazBlue background. I play more on the BlazBlue side when it comes to Arcsystem. I don't know how fast danger or negative edge comes when it comes to other Guilty Gear titles, but I definitely feel like the danger state comes a little too fast, and it's just that you could be just like playing more but defensively and just waiting for your opponent, and somehow the danger state would already be there, penalizing you just because you're somewhere at the stage, or just somewhere is just waiting for your opponent to get in, or just waiting for them to get in, or just waiting for the opportunity. I feel like it just comes a little too fast, so that makes me think that the defensive play in Guilty Gear is not as rewarding at all. Like at best it even at worst it even hurts you and takes your resources, which I get. I mean, this feature has always been in many Guilty Gear and other Arcsystem titles, so it's not just BlazBlue and Guilty Gear, but I do definitely think it's still hurtful for you, even though you're playing defensively just like how you usually would most of the time, and it still hurts you. And of course there's the obvious backdashing, not really backdashing, specifically more like air backdash. If you air backdash, it's like it's nothing. It's like it's not even worth it. You're honestly just better off just jumping backwards, because it's so short. The momentum isn't that much at all. It's just that I don't understand why you even put it in the first place. It's so short, and you're just honestly just better off just jumping backwards, and it doesn't give you any distance at all. And I get that the game has already kind of like hurt the air game a little bit when it comes to this Guilty Gear. I mean, it's obvious it's a different kind of Guilty Gear, but at least the game and many, at least the other titles and any other titles besides Arcsystem IPs, they at least give defensive play, or even at least just playing defensively, they give people options. And They don't make it as bad as this. And the air dash on that is just pathetic. Like, there's no distance. There's nothing. You're just better off in the ground just backdashing, or you're just jumping forward. Or jumping backwards. It's honestly the best option you can get. I mean, it still rewards you. Obviously, I haven't tested out everyone's backdash or air backdash, but so far, from what I see, it's not good. It's very bad. It's not that great. So yeah, the second point that I definitely felt on the third beta for me was that the netcode was kind of off. I don't know exactly what it was, but the netcode just felt different. It was still a good netcode. The rollback on the third beta was still as good, but it wasn't as good for some reason as the second beta. I don't know if there was any change or if there was any improvement or tweak, but it just somehow felt off. I just felt like the netcode on the third beta was slightly compromised, and it's kind of hard to explain how. It did just felt a little off. There are times in the match where I'm playing an online match against someone, and there could be some inputs that I'm doing. It either is actually just delayed in some way, or the response time isn't as quick as I thought it would. It's just that, well, I can't really give a very narrow or good explanation as to why I feel like the netcode was just different or just felt off on the third beta, but I just felt like it was, and I'm not sure if I was the only one who felt it, but there are some channels that I have seen with people actually having to have felt this. They've also felt this this change on the netcode before, and yeah, I felt that change too. I'm hoping that they still improve more on the netcode to be like at least like the second beta, or even at least better. I'm just hoping that this netcode from the third beta is not gonna be in the final game. And I mean, that's obvious. This was the third beta, and anything from the beta, it's never really a final. Depends really, but then again, you'll never know. It could actually come into the final game, which I really hope it doesn't, because Guilty Gear Strive's beta, the second beta's netcode was just really good, and I really hope they keep that same netcode to be the same like in the full game. Third one, which is the last one, is that is definitely one that I do have a little gripe with the game, is that there's no Gatling. For the people who don't know, in the Guilty Gear community, they have this thing called Gatling, which is basically when you mix in a bunch of moves from one to the other so that it can form a combo. Like for the usual, like 5A to 5B to 5C and something and those whatnot. So like, or in simple terms, like light to medium to heavy and those whatnot, right? Well, that's basically Gatling. In BlazBlue, we call it different. We don't really call it Gatling. We just call it combo. Well, I'm not sure, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm wrong in the comments below. I am just learning what Gatling was, since I'm not in the Guilty Gear community. But the combos in Guilty Gear Strive, it feels restrictive. It doesn't feel as much flow as I thought it would have. From what I've seen, there's definitely a lot of flow with other Guilty Gear titles. I have played the other Guilty Gear games like Exert and Exert Rev and Rev 2. I played Sign also, which is basically still Exert Rev. I played Accent Core plus R, and yeah, the combos there are pretty alright. They flow pretty well, but this Guilty Gear is different, and most of the time it's just you comboing to like your 5A 5HS and to other to 8 to 5S, and just lots of S and HS. I don't know. It's just mostly just gonna be comboing into like to like slashes, to heavy slashes, to down heavy slashes. It's most of the time you're gonna be using is your slashes and heavy slashes. And you're rarely ever probably gonna use your 5k or even like 5p. Maybe you could be using your 6p, since that's pretty much everyone's like anti-air move. Most of the time you're not gonna be touching that button at all, like 0. So that's why I feel like it's definitely more restrictive. So you would be neglecting a lot of buttons and your characters like moves and whatnot. I like a game where you use all your buttons. Like for example, in Blaze Blue, if you have a route, you would be creative and you are able to use not only all the buttons, but all of its mechanics, and you just bring out just as much damage as you possibly can when you're labbing. But for in Strive, you're like, well, let's try, I don't know, let's try like slash to this, to heavy slash, and to maybe dust, or this and that. I don't know. The combo routes in that game is just so restrictive. Like there is so much restrictive. There's no freedom and there is no flow. It's just everyone, in a way, once you discover each and every one is their optimal routes, is you've pretty much labbed everything about that character. Pretty much, in a way, everyone would be playing the same. If you think about it, let's think of it like this. If you were to play Giovanna and I'd be playing Giovanna, and we learned and labbed all the like routes that we need to lab, we fought against each other, would you really be able to distinguish which of the Giovannas are different, since pretty much we all labbed the same type of combos? And because we only lab those type of combos and it's the same ones, because those are the only ones that we are at least able to use and utilize on the character, and pretty much not, that also hurts because those are also the optimal ones. So most of the time you're just gonna be seeing two characters fight against each other, doing the same route or at least similar routes over and over. So there really is like barely any difference between any of the player at all. You can't distinguish anyone from purely playstyle. I can't really tell so far. Again, this is just the beta from what I've played, and from what I've heard, Soul and Remethal are pretty much the only two characters that you can actually play with freedom. And at least from other people's words, they're not playing Strive, they're playing their own game. And yeah, and honestly, I'm gonna check them out, and once the full game comes out, and if they do indeed have more flow, I'm probably gonna pick up Soul and Remnethal, because I'm the type of person who likes using a character where you can do whatever you want given the situation you're in a match. If I hit him with this, I know what to do, and I could just hit them with this route if I want. And if I don't know any route at all, I could improvise on the spot. I know what moves maybe I could try and do, and maybe it could connect to this. And then guess what? I've made a new route. And I may not be optimal, or it could be optimal, or the point is, it's just I made it on the spot thanks to adaptability, that I know this character inside and out, hence why I can just adapt on the fly and make a combo to give out damage. And you know, if I'm just gonna end up with a character where I hit them with a move or hit confirm with them with a move, but the character doesn't really have any route on that one button, because you have to use other specific buttons for you to dish out damage, then what's the point in me using these characters? In fact, what's the point in me using these buttons? They're not worth. And I mean, a lot of people could say like, you know, you could just RC to maybe combo into it. Like, no, I don't want to waste meter just to do a simple combo. No. I would use RC more smartly, so that I would, or even at least save it for situations when I need it. And obviously, for people who don't know, RC means Roman cancel, and Basically, it's just a mechanic in the game where you use meter and it'll cancel any move that you're doing, and you can just either freeze your opponent, or freeze them while they're in while in hit stun or block stun or whatsoever. It has many applications. But yeah, I don't know. It's just that this is one of the few games that where the combo routes I'm not too quite fond of, at least. I mean, there is another game that does remind me of it, which I can tell, which is also suffer from a very lenient combo system, which is Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. As much as I do absolutely love the game, I do definitely feel like the combo routes in that game is very lenient and not very creative. Most of the time, you're gonna be dishing out your damage when you're in the corner with your opponent, when you're cornering them, and when you're on mid screen or off the corner, yeah, good luck. You're just gonna be doing like Street Fighter types of combos if you're not to throw out shade on the Street Fighter folks, but like the damage you're gonna be throwing in mid screen is very minimal compared to when you are in the corner. But yeah, obviously there's also the netcode, but like that's not really the topic on this one. But yeah, that's why those are the three things that I definitely do worry when it comes to Guilty Gear Strive, which is like playing defensive play, the netcode, and the fact that there's no Gatling in the game. I don't know, maybe hopefully there might be some changes in the game that they're planning on doing, or not. I'm not so sure yet. But still, I still am definitely going to be looking forward to the game, and especially how big it is. There's definitely going to be people very excited for it, and it's especially for many new players. I definitely know for sure that the game was made for for it to be beginner friendly, and I totally get that. But that in itself can also be a video about many Arcsystem titles, at least the recent ones, being so beginner friendly, and yeah, that would be definitely a video for another time. But yeah, other than that, I would definitely am still be excited for the game. I've already pre-ordered it actually, but yeah, I just hope that these three things would at least be resolved, or at best, I don't want it to at least stick out so much to the point where it would very much hurt the game in its life cycle, despite the game even having a really good netcode. But yeah, those are still the worries I still have. So yeah, anyways, other than that, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Definitely click the like button and go ahead and comment down in the bottom description below. This is how I know for sure if you guys want more videos like this, so you already know. Anyways, I'll see you guys all later. Peace out. See you all in the next video. I'll see you all later. Peace out. Bye.